Hey guys, good to talk to you again. I want to go through our Wednesday night devotion for tonight, and hopefully you guys are keeping up with these. For tonight, what I want to do, I want to go over a passage in Galatians, and that passage is about freedom. Where you guys are kind of at a point where you're done with school. It is officially summer break now. And you're able to kind of get out more. A lot of the restrictions we've been under has gone down some. They've kind of slacked off, and so now you're able to get out a little bit, and you're able to do a few things. Like this past Sunday, we were able to actually come to church together. So we finally have a little more freedom than we did a few months ago or a few weeks ago. And so I want to kind of keep with the theme of freedom. Okay. So first, let's look in Galatians chapter 5. We're just going to look at verse 1, okay? So Galatians chapter 5, verse 1 says this: "For freedom Christ has set us free. Stand firm, therefore, and do not submit again to a yoke of slavery." Okay? Now here's the danger whenever we talk about freedom as American believers. We instantly think about, constitutional freedom, being a free American. Well, that's not necessarily what Paul was talking about. Paul was comparing the freedom that we have in Christ against the slavery that is found in the law. So there is a group that wanted to hold on to some of those laws that we see in the Old Testament when Jesus had already came and fulfilled that law, right? He'd already made it better. And he had a little bit of a message for them. He's saying Christ has set you free. So you don't have to rely on all those things that you thought saved you in the first place, right? We already have Jesus. His death and his resurrection took care of some of those things that would make it very difficult to be a Christian today, and mainly things that we just weren't capable of doing. So that's the type of freedom that Paul is talking about. He's talking about the freedom that we have in Christ versus the freedom or versus the slavery that we might have under the law. So I want you to think of a time when somebody made something easier for you. Maybe they came in and did you a favor. Maybe they showed you how to do something. Who knows? They made life easier for you. Now, if that worked out for you and it went well, you probably wouldn't want to go back and say, you know what, I think I would rather do it the hard way, right? I think I would rather go back and not be shown how to do this, or not have this person come in and do me a favor. You're typically not going to say that. That is what Paul is telling these people. It's like, there's no reason for you to say, I wish we could do it this way, except for the fact you're relying on yourself for salvation more than you are Jesus. Okay? So, once we've kind of accepted that freedom, we've accepted the fact that we're free. It's not over, right? There's not an end with just the freedom. Okay, although it was a gift, Jesus' death and resurrection, our salvation, and that was a gift. You don't just take gifts from someone and put them in the corner and never use them again, right? Unless if it's a good gift, you use it. So let's look at the end of this section in verses 13 through 15. Okay, so Galatians 5, 13 through 15. It says, "For you were called to freedom, brothers. Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love serve one another. For the whole law is fulfilled in one word: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. But if you bite and devour one another, watch out that you are not consumed by one another." So, from Paul's perspective, what he's saying, you are free. You are free from the law. You are free to do a lot now because of Jesus. But don't use your freedom in Christ to make it harder for other people to come to Him. Okay, don't put extra rules and regulations on on those who just believe, right? As we said earlier, you finally have a little bit of freedom, right? You're able to get out. You're able to do some of what you want to do. I know like some sports are starting the workouts back up, and there's lots of stores back opening, and you can go and do all the different things you haven't been able to do. In other words, you have more freedom. Listen to this part in verse 13 and see how that resonates with what you have right now. It says, "Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love serve one another." Now, how could you use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh or in the flesh? I mean, the possibilities are countless, but ultimately you use it in a selfish way. You're like, okay, I'm finally out. I'm going to go out and just burn the town down, right? Sometimes that's literal right now, but Paul says use that to serve one another. So if there's someone that you know of who maybe can't get out, maybe somebody who's older, who can't get out because they're still afraid of getting sick, take your freedom that you can use, showing that Christ-like love, and help them. You know what I mean? Use that as an opportunity, not just for yourself. Now, if you want to go out and do your thing, that I'm not telling you not to do that, but also use it as an opportunity to help someone. Okay? And listen to how we can know that this is what God would want us to do. Paul says in verse 14, "For the whole law is fulfilled in one word," or in one sentence. "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." Right? You shall love your neighbor as yourself. So think of it this way. You finally get the freedom to get out and go places. Now imagine yourself if you couldn't. Okay? How would you want to be treated in that situation? Would you want someone to visit you? Would you want someone to help you? Would you want someone to maybe bring you something? Put yourself in those shoes and figure out how you would want to be treated in that situation. And that is how the law is fulfilled. Right? The whole law is fulfilled in one word. Now, obviously Jesus fulfilled the entire law. But he did that because he loved his neighbor as himself. Right? But if you bite and devour one another, watch out that you are not consumed by one another. And guys, we're seeing a lot of that, right? We're seeing mankind kind of eat each other apart right now. I'm not going to say what's wrong and what's right, but I am going to say that we are seeing that happen right now. So there are a lot of things you can do. There are a lot of things you can do with your freedom. Not only your freedom to be out and about in the town, but your freedom that you have in Christ. The most important thing that you can do with that freedom is to treat your neighbor the way you would like to be treated. So guys, I hope that speaks to you today. I hope to see you again on Sunday. It was great seeing a lot of you guys there. And thank you guys. Thank you for the ones who help clean. That's a big job right now, I know, but it's so important for us to be able to keep these things clean, our pews clean, and our church clean, so we can continue to have church and people rotating in and out for both of our services. So thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you Sunday. See you.